Hi, everybody. I hope everybody is having an absolutely fabulous day. We have a lot to cover, as is usual, so let's just jump in and get there, shall we? Let's go. We're going to start off this morning with the chaplain general who put up a post saying that he met with Queen Camilla. She was appointed the patron of the Royal Army Chaplains Department in August of 2023. Very nice. Moving on. Next up, Prince William went on a Zoom call with firefighters from all across Canada, and he spoke to them to talk to them about their experiences. He thanked them for, all the work they did during the wildfires. And by the way, they had the worst wildfire season on record. So good for him reaching out. All right, moving on. Moving on now, this is interesting. One of Queen Elizabeth's friends from childhood, Lady Glenn Connor, apparently came out and said, I think Meghan thought that it was going to be like living in a movie when she joined the royal family. She said, and I'm quoting, I think she thought she'd be riding around in a golden coach after her marriage to Prince Harry and didn't know that duties were actually expected of her. And she also said she feels very sorry for Harry. And she said being a member of the royal family is really extremely boring, that you're expected to meet thousands of people, say something interesting, be nice to every person. And she thought that maybe Meghan thought it was just like another role and, another job. And she said, we all feel very, 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 very sorry for Harry, and we're just going to leave it at that. And doesn't that say a lot? But that pretty much goes with what we heard, isn't it? She was complaining. First of all, she was rude to the staff. The Queen took her aside and said something to her. Catherine took her aside and said something to her. And then she was complaining that after getting dressed up and going to these events, she had to go home and cook dinner. I think she literally expected to be sitting around with people waiting on her hand and foot, cleaning her house, cooking her meals. And that's just not the way it is. And she was sorely disappointed. I agree with that. All right, we're moving on now. I've told you guys before that in a bid to make him more marketable, they're trying to make Harry more sexy. They're trying to make him more desirable. Sorry, guys, if this is what you consider to be sexy, puffed out cheeks, fake hair, because he's got hair plugs. We'll be discussing that in a minute. There are just some pictures of him from the past and videos that you cannot outrun. This man is not sexy or desirable in any way. The only thing that made him desirable was his position and the fact that he was linked to the royal family, and even that's gone now. Harry never grew up. He has emotional, social, drug, and alcohol issues that he's admitted to. He has mommy issues. Not desirable in any way. Moving on. Now, as part of this, let's make him sexy, they're trying to put hair on him. I, for one, think balding men are sexy as well, but for some reason, he really wants to look cool and sexy and have lots of hair. And so, what is he doing? He is teasing up his hair, they said, to make it appear fuller. He has manicured his mustache, and he's shaved a little bit, and yeah. Okay, so you see in these pictures where I clearly showed you last time that he's having hair plugs done. You can see on here where they removed the hair, because that's the part that grows back. So they took the hair from the side of his head, they put it on the top. In these pictures, you can clearly see that that area is finally growing back, and you can also see how high the hair is teased up on his head. Can you guys see that? Let me zoom in for you. You see that? So what he does is, because he is balding, he takes the hair, he literally teases it up in the air and sprays it into place, which is why you see stuff like this when he's actually in the light. And also, you notice in the other pictures his hair was brown. Here it's red. They're color correcting. Moving on. Next up, we have our name and shame segment. The TfL here in London has caught everybody's attention. Apparently, whoever was driving the chain began chanting as he operated the chain, "Free Palestine," and all this kind of stuff. Well, the TfL has come out and said they're very upset with the driver, but they don't know who the driver was. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. If you know who was working that day and you know which train it happened on, you can figure it out. Moving on. The next person, I'm assuming this happened in New York. They were on the Upper East Side. He was removing pictures of kidnapped children, And when he was asked why he removed them, he said, well, what about Palestine? And it's like, well, then put up pictures of Palestinian children, but you don't have to remove the posters of the other kids. Because he was then given an argument that he didn't have an answer for, he dropped the F-bomb and walked away. Well, he was identified. Mark Louvet, I believe is how you say this gentleman's name. There he is. And of course, his employer found out, wouldn't you know it? And yeah, he's not working there anymore. All right, this one was really interesting. LA makeup artist Rubina actually filmed herself ripping down posters of an Israeli baby that has, that's missing. All right, her words, not mine. She doesn't care if she loses clients over this. She doesn't care. Then oh, by the way, there's what she looks like. Then she went on IG and she put up another post where she says, babies were not killed. They weren't murdered. That's wrong. Blah, blah, blah. Well, she uses something called Style Seat to book her appointments. And when they became aware of her, they suspended her account. So she should stand by her words. She's lost clients. Moving on. All right, let's go back to Meghan Markle. I absolutely agree with this. She expected to be on the same level with Princess Kate. She didn't realize that there was a pecking order. So I think she married Harry. She joined the royal family. She expected that people were just going to love her as much as Catherine. And then when things didn't go her way, she wanted to modernize the monarchy. The monarchy said no. And then when she and Harry wanted to step back, they did the half in, half out plan. And when they were told no, that's when they started up with the racism allegations. I've told you guys this before. Had the royal family given in to their demands for the half in, half out life, you wouldn't have heard any of this stuff. Never. She was on the B team, not the A team. She was never going to be queen. It was never going to happen. Then she tried to change the monarchy and modernize it. They said no. And that's when these allegations happened. But we all know about that. And of course, she pulled the race card, which is, she weaponized the fact that she is a quarter black. And yeah, black community fell right for it. Moving on. Moving on, articles are coming out now saying that Harry and Meghan's reputation is basically in the toilet because they wanted to achieve the ultimate Hollywood lifestyle. Let me just say something. I don't believe that was Harry. I believe that was Meghan. And I think Meghan wanted to be a star. She was never able to achieve it on her own. She married Harry. She got Harry to go to the United States with her. They started a United States, style, let's get big, and all this kind of stuff. And it's just not going well. And people now are seeing that their reputations are just gone. First of all, nobody wants her. The draw is Harry, but Harry's pushed her in front, to let her realize her dream. And the problem is, stories are now coming out that Kris Jenner wants them to make a cameo in the family's show, The Kardashian. Now, people are telling Harry and Meghan, don't do it. Because if anything, that would show just how far down their reputations have fallen if they take that. Now, the article says that there is a friend who is no longer in touch with Harry, but is still in touch with William, and he predicted that they're absolutely going to sign up for the simple fact that they need cash flow. Everybody seems to think that Netflix gave them $100 million. That is not what happened. Netflix gave them a few million to produce something. Right now, they've got nothing in the pipeline, nothing confirmed anyway, and the Spotify deal is gone. Moving on. Next up, you should know that One Young World had their meeting at the beginning of October. They had some fabulous speakers, Queen Rania of Jordan, a lot of big names, people that, have won peace prizes and that have written books. I mean, really big people, not people who bring Netflix cameras to stand there and tape them while they're giving my Mimi speech. If I remember correctly, Meghan spoke for 5 minutes and mentioned herself like 55 times. Typical. Anyway, she apparently was not invited back this year. Oh well, moving on. Articles are coming out saying that the rift is going to outlive King Charles between William and Harry. I completely agree. I don't see any reconciliation happening like ever. Harry stepped over the line. You can't take back everything you said in those interviews. You tried to take back the racist claim, but then you turned around when that didn't work and you went full force at it again. You can't take away what you wore in despair. You can't take away the damage that you did. You can't take away the things you said about your sister-in-law, the things you said about your niece and nephew. Nope. So here's my prediction. My prediction is when King Charles dies, William is going to have Harry removed off the website. He's never going to speak to Harry again. There will be no money for Harry. He's going to cut Harry adrift, which, hey, that's what Harry wanted. Moving on, another PR puff piece. Did you know that if you go to the Archwell site, you get a brand new, stunning shot of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex at the 2023 Invictus Games, where the thing says, each of us can change our communities, all of us can change the world. Too bad they're not interested. It's a lot of talk. They talk the talk, but they do not walk the walk. We've seen it a gazillion times. I mean, they're the two biggest hypocrites. And FYI, these two privacy-loving people put cookies on your computer and track you and sell it to third parties. So you start getting a lot of spam. So I wouldn't go near their website if I were you. Moving on. And we're going to finish up with this article for today. You know, this is absolutely true. All of Harry's conversations start off by saying that Harry's complaining is really about the fact that he's not number one. He doesn't have a bigger role. He had a smaller room at the castle. He had one less sausage on his plate. But Meghan comes from an area where if you're talented and you work hard, you can get to the top. So in his eyes, the idea of a birthright being superseded by hard work and grit could have been what caught Harry's interest. But you know, the problem is Meghan didn't understand the hierarchy, which is why they were never able to be number one. She's on the B team, not the A team. I told you that, guys, earlier. It is what it is. All right, you guys, you know what I want. Put those comments down and make them good. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that bell. If you've already done it, double check and make sure you're still subscribed. If you've donated money through my coffee fund or the thanks button, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.